Hi, it's day 2 of the 22-day challenge to bring awareness to the issue of 22 veterans a day are, according to the statistics, veterans are committing suicide. These are young people from the recent wars at an average of 22 times per day. So for 22 days, this is day 2, I'm going to do my push-ups. And every day I'm going to nominate another person. I was going to nominate someone last night, but there was a software glitch and I couldn't do it. So I'm nominating him today. Bill Brissett. He's a dear, wonderful friend who has changed my life in many ways. You can go to his page and, I don't know what his privacy settings are, but he has wonderful stories of his life. Some very sad and some sad and then a happy part to it later. And he's very inspirational. He's also very emotional, about things that he cares about. And I know this is something he cares deeply about because he is a Vietnam War vet and he went through a heck of a lot of stuff, during that process. So I know this means so much to him. And that's why I thought of him first, because Jay, you're great. And this is not to, there's no competition here. But I kind of thought of him first because he is a veteran and he's has had, to live with the war, for so long and what it does. Little explanation about PTSD. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. They used to call it shell shock, thinking it was the noise and the head banging of the noise that sort of made veterans ill. But actually, it's not shell shock. It's just, continuous chronic shock for as long as you're in battle situation. And people who don't go to war, of course, get PTSD, and I understand that, but this one's for the veterans, okay? Not for people who have experienced other forms of trauma. This is for trauma that needn't have happened at all. That's kind of something I want you to know. This trauma needn't have happened at all, okay? But it did. And 22 young people a day. I don't know how many men, how many women, whatever it is, because the women were nurses and all kinds of other things, and now they can go in combat. They're affected as well by post-traumatic stress disorder from combat situations and so forth. So hold on a minute. Okay, I was just interrupted by someone who was diagnosed with shell shock in 1945. My dad. He didn't know what I was doing, but I'm in here shooting a video. Now, this is a bless this mess room. This used to be it is still my office where I prepared for my classes and all that. Wrote papers and did this and did that. Wrote 5 entries to an encyclopedia that I didn't get paid for, but that's not trauma. Okay, I've had trauma, but that's not it. But I never had war trauma. And it's like they didn't die, in a war with post-traumatic stress disorder. But something got murdered inside them so that they can never live the life they might have lived without going through that trauma at a very, very young age. So I nominate Bill Brissett. I don't know his health status, so if he can't do it, he should maybe nominate 2 friends who can do it. One can do it in his stead and one to nominate to pay it forward so they do it. That's all. And if you're inspired by this to start your own 22 days, go for it, man. It's a really good thing to do. I've got more makeup on today. Check that out. Decent lighting and, almost a picture. Okay, but it's time for still this saggy thing here. Gotta work on that. Concealer. So you guys don't have to worry about that thing. Okay, now, time to do the 22 push-ups. Okay, 22. Remember, you gotta do 22. Okay, I don't do girly push-ups. I do real ones. Here are my knees. This is the knee. The knee is going straight back. Help! I just knocked over my whole thing there. Okay, well, this is not roomy here. Okay. This is probably not the right way to do it. Okay, but no, it's not. I just fell on a box. Oh, God dang. Okay, let's wait up a bit. Get this out of here. Ugh. Okay, now, here we go. Just lay down and get those knees up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can pause. 10. You can pause. 11. 12. I'm going to the girlies. Girly push-ups. 13. 14. 15. Why can't I do it now? 16. 17. I'm not making it. 18. 19. 21. 22. And I kind of failed, but I'll make it up tonight. Let me try. I need 11 to 20. One. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. I just used my left elbow to try to. Wow, man. I am not as energetic in the morning as I am at night. It has to do with the blood levels of Inderal, which is a heart rate stabilizer and blood pressure stabilizer. It's a beta blocker. And man, that was hard. Last night was easy. This was hard. I did bend my arm. And I apologize for that. That's the best I could do right now. Tomorrow will be better, but I will do it later in the day. When I have more wind. Which I don't have. But I still got the 22 push-ups in. I just used my forearm instead of my fingers. And one forearm only. And the first 10 went, pretty much okay. Not as good as usual, but keeping the forearm bent. The knees don't mean anything to me. I don't like girly push-ups. Girly push-ups. Push-ups for girls. I like to do just regular push-ups. But it was the best I could do. I'm sorry I wasn't perfect. But I think I did a pretty good job. You said assistive was okay, so I just used the forearm for an assist on one side. If it was at night, I wouldn't have needed to do that. But it's not night, it's morning. Woo! Okay, Bill, if you can do the push-ups, you do them. And you can film yourself in the dark if you don't want people to see you. I could have done that. But here I am. Um, but y'all don't have makeup. Men don't have makeup to make themselves look, you know, they don't have that. You see the difference it makes? Yeah. Except when you get really close, you go, oh God, she's old and fat. So, then you need to nominate after you've either done the push-ups, or if you've done the push-ups, just nominate one person and continue to nominate one person every day that you do your push-ups, which is 22 days for the 22 veterans who are committing suicide at that rate right now. This is your way not only to honor them, but to get the living people the help they need and obviously aren't getting, to not kill themselves after arriving so-called safely home from a recent war, and some from older wars as well, because we've had a war for every generation. Shoot, and when these guys come home, I mean, even if you didn't agree with the war, I mean, I can't think of one recently that I have really agreed with that much, but but when they get home from the war, and then they're treated like pariahs by some people because they fought in the war. I'm not talking about that movie. That's a different thing. The Clint Eastwood thing. I'm talking about the regular guys who just want to go to school, get the money for school, do this, and their heads all mashed up because of this horrible, horrifying experience that's left them traumatized for life. And they need to get help so they can get out of that. And it can only happen if we raise awareness of the problem so that they don't feel, embarrassed about it. It's a mood disorder. It's not the same as a thought disorder, which, people who are psychotic or whatever. It's not that. It's a mood disorder. Everything scares them because everything reminds them of the war. And they need our help to bring awareness to this so they'll get to therapy, they'll get the health care they need, and it will be properly addressed. I'm trying to do this properly. And that's the key. Because once you get help for something, it changes a person's whole life. But a lot of people are embarrassed to go, say, to a VA hospital and say, I think I have a mental illness, which is debatable about whether it's mental, emotional, whatever, or just PTSD, but they may not even know what that is, but they need help for it. So this will help to educate people as to what it is. It's basically a mood disorder. Everything you experienced in the traumatic situation comes back at you at the wrong times or any time. And it's horrible, and it's horrible to live with. But people have to bring awareness to it so people aren't afraid to ask for help and to get the help that they need and that they're entitled to get because they served our country. And that matters, man. That matters a lot. These are not just ordinary people who suffered traumatic stuff in their earlier life, because, that's a whole other thing. This is about veterans of war, combat, who go in as innocent young kids and come out sick. And we can help them get better. So do your 22 push-ups today, if you can, and then nominate someone else to do 22 push-ups for 22 days. If you can't do it, nominate 2 people, one to do the push-ups you can't do, and don't feel safe doing, and then another person to pay it forward to. Okay, so I nominate you, Bill Brissett, today, and find a way to get this done without hurting yourself, okay? Because I know Vietnam vets aren't spring chickens anymore, but they're still suffering. And so just getting that awareness out there and spreading this forward and making it a viral thing is even more of a viral thing than it is. I want to see it on CNN, man. on MSNBC or Fox, even wherever. I want to see this on television, because nothing's more important than the people who voluntarily subject themselves to horror for our safety, because that's what they do. It's all volunteer army. 22 a day. And you're supposed to film it. You don't have to film it, but you're supposed to film it. Okay. I nominate you, Bill Prezette. You got to then, choose wisely about your health and then nominate another person to carry forward the chain, or you can nominate a push-up person to do your push-ups for you if you need that for your health. Because, like I said, Vietnam veterans are not as young as they once were, so, I understand that. That's cool. Just get it spreading around. And thank you, and thank our veterans for all they've, voluntarily done for us, to try to keep us safe. It didn't always work out that way, because it's complicated in politics and all that stuff. But that's what they went there for, to keep us safe. And we're not doing anything for them. The GI Bill doesn't exist anymore like it once did. Okay, so you Bill Prezette, 22 a day. Nominate somebody else, and then I'll nominate somebody else, and so on. Okay. See ya.